There's nothing to writing. All you do is sit down at a typewriter and bleed. Welcome to The Bleeders, a podcast and support group about book writing and publishing. I'm writer and podcaster Courtney Kosak, and each week I'll bring you new conversations with authors, agents, and publishers about how to write and sell books. So Bleeders, summer school is now in session, and I'm doing something a little different. I'm trying to write a freaking book, and I've discovered that's very hard to do while producing 3 podcasts. So I had already batched a bunch of interviews for you guys. I was very excited to release them, and that's what I'm going to do. I did it all in advance. It's all ready for you, and I can take 2 months off to write this book. So I told you in the last couple episodes that I got an agent, a really good agent. It's Mark Gottlieb at Trident Media Group. I have a book out on submission. Everybody help me manifest. I'm going to take you along for the ride. Hopefully something happens with that this summer. And in the meantime, I am eager to finish this other memoir and essays project that I have been working on for a very, very long time, and I want to wrap that baby up. So, long story short, this is how it's going to go down. I am going to serve you up a mini-sode every Monday. Okay, let's call it a flash podcast in literary terms. And it's going to offer a delicious sample or a key lesson from the full conversation. It's going to be shorter. And then the full interview is over on the newly launched YouTube channel for The Bleeders, which is really cute. It's really fun to watch, everybody. So I think you'll enjoy that. And yes, I am going on 40 and I am launching a YouTube channel. There's no shame in my game. The handle on YouTube is @Bleeders Podcast. So you can find the show on youtube.com/@Bleeders Podcast. You have to use the @ sign. It's stupid, but it's how it works. So again, youtube.com/@Bleeders Podcast. And make sure you subscribe over there so you can stay up on the latest. And without further ado, our instructor for today is...
Hi, my name is Zachary Zane, and I'm the author of Boyslut, a memoir and manifesto. So I write the sex and relationship advice column, Sexplain It, at Men's Health. I also have a non-monogamy column at Cosmo called Navigating Non-Monogamy. And I've written for New York Times, Rolling Stone, Washington Post, GQ, Slate, every single publication I've written for that. And I write about sex, relationships, and LGBTQ culture.
So did you sell this on proposal?
Yes. So I wrote the proposal. I got a literary agent. I worked with her for about a year tweaking it. It was also during COVID. So like she would be like, hey, it's sorry, it took me 7 months or 8 months to get back to with edits. I'm also going through COVID and everything fucking sucks. And I'm like, no, there's no rush. The world's ablaze. Yes. Take our time. So I don't think it would usually take that much longer with your agent to tweak the final proposal. But my proposal itself is close to 40,000 words.
Okay. Like how many pages?
Well, my book is 75,000 words.
Your book is 75. I just wrote a proposal that's like 80 some pages, and I was like, is this crazy? But it sounds like your proposal is about that long too.
Mine I think was 120.
120, damn.
And that's because it's our first proposal, right? This is our first book. So when so much of your proposal, as you know, but maybe aspiring writers don't know, is not dedicated to your actual book. It's about how can you sell your book, which is not necessarily a skill set that I had. My sample chapters, the chapter outlines, the chapter summaries, that I could do. But there's at least for me, there's essentially a section where you list every single fucking celebrity you know. And people are like, what? I'm like, will they promote it? Will they sell it? Will this person... they have 1 million followers and this is a friend of mine and they'll be able to reshare it and they care about that. So much of it is like, who's your audience? Who's your market? Who are the other comp books that are similar to yours, but yours is different enough and could potentially do better? And so much of it is dedicated to claiming you have an audience, promising that you can sell X number of copies of this book. And once you have 1 or 2 books behind your belt, you're like, oh, proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? Like, I have these books, they are sold, I have an audience. So it's really frustrating, sometimes to write this proposal because I'm like, who's my marketing and audience? I'm like, everyone, queer people, not queer, but like, just, who the fuck, like, people are going to read it and like it. You know what I mean? But it's like a lot of that, which is quite frustrating. But like, I started writing the proposal at the end of 2018. The book comes out May 2023. And again, COVID slowed things down until I got money after selling the book. I was only doing it in short spurts when I had enough money, otherwise I should be working on other freelance pieces. So like, it was a slow journey. And then kind of once you actually get the advance, you have enough money to like work on your book. Although you should note that I submitted the first draft of my book before I even got the first third of my advance. It often takes a lot of time to sign, anywhere between like 3 and 6 and 7 months. I think the average is like 3 to 5. So, because they're still figuring out the final tweaks in the contract, which is really kind of frustrating. You know what I mean? Yeah. Being like, okay, the whole point of the advance is that I can focus on the book and not have to write other things because I have this money coming in. And so it completely defeats the purpose of an advance. I was still, at that point, I was still writing my columns, but I also like essentially only took the other pieces I took were just the money pieces. And that was it. So like easy money pieces, any like harder op-ed, even if it was for a better publication, I still would be like, I just don't have the time. It's book and easy money is kind of what I did for the 6 months.
That's really smart. I mean, you do have a platform though. So how much, when you're talking about this marketing plan part of your proposal, did you feel like when you finished it, you were like, yeah, I can market the shit out of this book? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, and like essentially my agent, her response is like, overwhelm them. I want them to skip this chapter because they're like, Jesus, fuck. Okay, we get it. Yeah, we don't need these like, just like, so like every feature I've had written on me, every podcast, every time I'm quoted as an expert, every mainstream article I was in. So like, it was just such an overwhelming amount. And I only got an Instagram in like 2017, which is pretty late, in order to start selling and promoting myself as a writer. So I like did all of this. I did a lot of favors for people. I wrote articles for free for their blogs or helped promote their stuff with the knowledge that when my book comes out, I need your support. I need you resharing. I need you helping me in any capacity you can. So I was kind of prepared for this business side for a while and was planning 5 years out. How am I going to sell this book? How am I going to promote this book? And it's something that you can't start thinking about too early.
Yeah, that's really smart. All right, Bleeders, that was just a little preview. The whole interview is so good and it's over on YouTube. So again, you go to youtube.com/@bleederspodcast. That is youtube.com/@bleederspodcast for the full conversation. You're going to love it. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Bleeders. Writing is so much better with friends. I'm your host, Courtney Kosak, and hey, let's connect on social media. I am at Courtney Kosak, that is Kosak on Twitter and Instagram, and I made brand new accounts for the show, so you can follow the show at Bleeders Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and make sure you're signed up for the Bleeders Companion Substack. There is a link in the episode description for that. And after enjoying this content, if you could do me a huge favor, I have a goal to get to 50 ratings on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify by the end of the summer. Right now I am at 7 and 20 respectively. And these ratings and reviews, they really help with guest booking and elevating that. So if you could just leave a 5-star rating and a review, if it's possible, that would make my day. And that would also improve your listening experience. So join me again next week for another all-new episode. In the meantime, happy bleeding! P.S. I am teaching a workshop through Write or Die magazine and Chill Subs. It's called How to Build a Platform for Writers Who Shudder at the Thought, which is my former self, and I have since been complimented on my platform. So I want to tell you how to do it. It's on July 22nd. It's just $50, and I'm going to tell you how to leverage podcasts, newsletters, social media, and maybe some stuff you haven't even thought about yet to build your writer platform. And no, you don't need to start your own podcast. So again, it is on July 22nd, and it will be recorded. I hope you'll join me. There's a link in the episode description for more info.